Hey, thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore, and I'm going to share with you my 5 thoughts from Saturday's Twins game. Twins win 6-4 against the Tampa Bay Rays. They've now won 4 of their past 5 series and are really on some kind of a roll since starting 1-6 to open the season. Let's get started on 5 thoughts. Thought number 1, Eduardo Escobar, starting at shortstop for the first time in a while. He went 4 for 4. He had 4 hits on the night, including 2 doubles, and he drove in what proved to be the winning run. The Twins, of course, scored 6. Escobar drove in the 5th run, just a bit of a technicality, but that happened to be the one that the Twins won on. He's played mostly left field since Oswaldo Arcia's injury, and I think you can expect to see him mostly in the outfield anyways in the short term. Danny Santana was just getting a breather, I guess, at shortstop. Paul Molitor said before the game that he just wanted to eventually use Escobar at shortstop because he doesn't want to just go prolonged stretches without Escobar playing in the infield, which, of course, is his natural position. He obviously picked the Twins up with the bat on Saturday, but I don't expect to see him starting at shortstop, at least in the short term. I believe that job belongs to Danny Santana. Thought number 2, speaking of Danny Santana, he was the designated hitter on Saturday, as I mentioned, and he also batted 9th. Now, that's his customary spot in the lineup, but think about that for a second. How often do you see a designated hitter batting 9th, right? I mean, ordinarily, if a batter is, thought lowly enough of, I guess if you want to put it that way, to bat 9th in the order, he's not somebody you're considering using at designated hitter. But for the Twins, I think it actually makes some sense. I mean, Danny Santana is a bat that they want to keep in the lineup all the time, if not because he's one of their 9 best hitters, certainly because they'd like to keep him rolling and find out what they have in him, not only as a shortstop, but as a complete player as he works through his 2nd year in the big leagues. Batting him 9th makes a lot of sense to me. He doesn't have the high on-base percentage, and he adds speed, so they talk about the theory of, quote, rolling the lineup over, which basically means, you're sort of the leadoff hitter before the leadoff hitter, but you're just going to get fewer at-bats throughout the course of a season. I went through and looked up every other team's lineup, thanks to Baseball Reference's very helpful pages on lineups for the season. It's only happened one other time this year that a team has batted the designated hitter 9th, and that was actually on Wednesday. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim did that. Just a interesting lineup quirk, but I think you'll see Santana at batting 9th for the foreseeable future, and I think you'll see him back at shortstop here in the very near term as well. Thought number 3, the Twins showed off some outfield range that helped starting pitcher Trevor May quite a bit. Both Eddie Rosario and Aaron Hicks made ranging catches in the outfield, in left field and center field respectively. Rosario caught a ball really close to the foul line after going a long way to get it, and it was a sacrifice fly. A run still scored, but as I wrote in the column for the website, a sac fly RBI with a runner on first base, and then I think it was 2 outs at that point, is an awful lot better than an RBI double landing in the corner, not getting the out and having the run, possibly 2 runs come around to score on a ball like that. So, credit the Twins outfielders on Saturday anyways for showing off some range, and that's a big help to the starting pitcher. The ball that Hicks went to get, it was a nice catch. I think I expected him to make it as soon as I saw he got the good jump, but he went an awful long way, and that's something that Hicks added to the game that he didn't have to do with his bat. Paul Molitor talked about that on Friday, that Aaron Hicks is the kind of player that when he's playing really well and he's doing other things, whether it's base running, fielding, throwing to the right bases with that huge arm of his, he can affect games in ways other than at the plate, and he did that. He ended the 6th inning with that good catch in right center field, the right center field gap. Starting pitcher Trevor May seemed to appreciate that. Let's see, we'll move right along here. In each of these thoughts, I did sort of a sub-thought. So if you want more, dig a little bit deeper on some of these topics, check out the column, 1500ESPN.com, my 5 thoughts from Saturday's game. I explained, most of this stuff in greater depth as well. Let's see, where are we at, though? Number 4. Thought number 4, the Twins did strand 8 runners on base, including, I think, one inning that really stood out. Kurt Suzuki had drawn a walk to open the inning. And then, who doubled? Somebody doubled Suzuki over to third. Would it have been Escobar, I think? I'll double check that for you. Eduardo Escobar did double, so the Twins, right, okay, they have second and third, nobody out. But then, here's the problem. Eddie Rosario, Aaron Hicks, Danny Santana went down 1-2-3 on two-strike changeups. I think you'd want to see them, obviously try and drive one of those runs in, just put a ball out in the outfield somewhere, whether it's a sac fly or a base hit. The Twins were unable to come through there. But the flip side of that thought, and here's the sort of second layer, on the flip side, the Twins did come through when given an extra out in the 7th inning. I talk about the play that really kind of swung the game in the Twins' favor. Check that out in the column, but it was basically a pitcher error on a ball that Trevor Plouffe tapped back to the mound. Probably wasn't going to be a double play. Should have definitely at least been one out. Instead, the Twins had the bases loaded with just one out. Kurt Suzuki lifted his sac fly, and Eduardo Escobar drove in that run that I talked about at the beginning of the video with a single. So you got to credit the Twins for capitalizing on the mistakes, and I think people harp when they don't come through in some of those run-scoring opportunities when they've got runners on base, and yeah, that's true. They have to come through in those spots. But I look at it from the flip side. I think the more a baseball team gets scoring positions, more often they're going to come through. I shouldn't say on a percentage basis, but you'd rather have the issue where you're stranding runners all the time than maybe the opposite issue where you're just not getting anybody on base and you're not stranding anyone. I know people tend to really get up in arms when teams aren't driving those runs home, especially guys out on second, third base, no outs, fewer than 2 outs. You'd like to see those runs score, but I think if you put the opportunities out there, in the long haul, those are going to come around to score, and the Twins are doing that through the first 6 weeks of the season. Thought number 5, Glenn Perkins saved career game number 100 on Friday night, saved career game number 101 on Saturday afternoon. The Twins' bullpen was good on Saturday. Brian Dunston came in, got 1 out on 1 pitch in the 7th inning. He got the win because the Twins rallied and scored 2 more runs in the bottom of the 7th. Blaine Boyer pitched a clean 8th. He's upped his scoreless streak, and then I mentioned Perkins came in the 9th. He did give up a home run on a slider, but then got a pair of strikeouts too in a big spot. One with a fastball, one with a slider he just buried. And he's a perfect 13 for 13 on the season, and one of the good things that the Twins have going for them right now, surprisingly, I guess, is their bullpen. We'll see if it continues. I think the Twins certainly have some flaws, but they're playing great baseball at home right now, and it's hard to argue with 13-5 at Target Field. That'll do it for this 5 Thoughts video. Phil Mackey and I are recording the Touch 'Em All podcast tomorrow. Check that out on iTunes. Go to iTunes, search under podcasts, Touch 'Em All. It's about a 30, 40, 50-minute conversation on the Twins each week with a couple of ball nerds, Phil Mackey, myself, Derek Wetmore. Got to sign off for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to 1500ESPN.com. Until next time, I'll catch you later.